Hi, welcome to the team. Glad you're with us. So, before we get started with any of the hands-on training, there are four major concepts that I need to discuss with you before we get started. So, the first concept is called cancellation. There's the cumulative effect, grow together, and the last ones are mirroring and bridging. So, we'll start with cancellation first. So, this concept, you can think of it similar to mathematics in a sense where if I take a negative and a negative, it will result in a positive. So let's say I have a dish, right, and I have a wine. Both are acidic, so I have acidic plus acidic. Now, because of this, it will result in these acidities being diminished, and you will be able to then taste the possibly fruitiness, floralness, or nuttiness of the wine, and the same, it can be enhanced in the very dish itself. And the same goes for sweetness. So it's acid and sweetness. These are the concepts that you have to think of when there is cancellation. So next after that is the cumulative effect, and this relates to tannins and spiciness as well. So when it comes to tannins, the rule isn't the same like that. You can't just take something tannic and something bitter and then hope that you get different flavors. It just doesn't work like that. So what you have to do in order to combat tannins is that your first option is that you will have a wine that is pretty balanced, and then it will be elevated in tannins. So the way to properly combat this is that you'll have a dish and it'll have salt in it, a decent amount of salt. And because of that, when you drink the wine and eat the food, the salt will take on the tannins within the wine, and then it'll go down, and then you'll get more of the flavors from the wine itself. And then for spiciness, in order to combat that, or not even combat, just to make sure that the spiciness doesn't get overloaded by the wine itself and get too accentuated, is that whatever wine you pick, it must have residual sugars in it, because the sugars will allow the spiciness to stay for a couple of seconds, and then it'll decrescendo down. So that is the cumulative effect. Next is grow together. So this is a pretty simple and easy concept for you to remember. It's basically if I have an ingredient that's from France and my wine is from France, let's say, they'll obviously taste well together because they're grown in the same region, terroir, all of those types of things. So that's easy to remember, but what you need to be able to do is be able to convey this to the guest and make it some sort of exciting story, or just make it interesting for them. Make them want to hear about this. And then lastly, we have mirroring and bridging, which is kind of our way of cheating a little bit, because running the restaurant is not the easiest, so we do these things because it really helps us out a lot. So the concept of bridging is when you take a dish, right, and let's say it has red wine in it. You can easily pair that with red wine that you can serve with it. So if I used a Pinot Noir into the red sauce that I have, then I can easily pair it with a Pinot Noir. And it doesn't even have to be the same exact bottle, it just has to be the same variety, or the same grape variety. So that is bridging. And mirroring is when I have a wine that I've never tasted, I just don't know anything about it, so I'll take it and I'll smell it. And once I smell it, I try to pay attention, and I can either detect either some form of nut or fruit or something of the sort. And once I detect this, I'll immediately put it into the dish itself so that they will easily pair well with one another. I have nut in my wine, I'll put nut in the food. So that is mirroring. And those are the four concepts. Thank you so much. You'll do great out there.